All right, BunnyCast episode 2, recorded on February 22nd, 2008.
I'm just going to talk to you about the importance of radishes in your diet. It's important to have radishes in your diet because they're radishy and they go well with tomatoes. But on another subject, here's the BunnyCast.
Alright, welcome to another BunnyCast. My name is Dame Helennet the Leatherclad, or Homernet, however you choose to follow along with me. Go ahead, guys.
The Honourable Right Reverend Sir Lord Killerfish of Keenfans, here talking to you over the internet. And onward.
And it's I, who is myself. With me.
Name!
Joss Whedon.
No!
Well, he's geeky enough to do these type of things.
True. This is Squato, who is being a great big lump again. Alright.
Great big lump of what?
That's a good question.
Feta
coal.
cheese.
Coal. Good to burn.
Alright, so
No, it's not coal, it's smole.
Do-
It looks just like coal, but produces 20% more smoke.
If it's almost but not completely unlike cheese, it is
Tasty.
cheese. Yeah. Okay, is there any news
I
from...
can't believe it's not... Whatever.
I want to believe! Anyways, news from the forums. Anyone got any news from the forums?
People posted.
Did they?
Blomgren posted more than anybody else.
The forums
Also,
are
people
still
believe.
there.
Yes,
Despite the fact that a Furby was seen playing with matches nearby. And a crazed look in its eye. Sorry, I quote Sluggy Freelance way too much.
okay.
Or not enough.
I know Squato's taking a break. I was busy for reasons I'll enumerate later. Killerfish, what's your excuse?
I've been too tired. Because of my job, which I might not have, after this week.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's only a temp job, so.
Oh, alright, so we'll touch on that.
Okay, I just took a quick look in the forums, like this is the main page and that. It looks like the main forum section has been even more slower than normal for some reason.
It's going well for me.
Well, I'm meaning like how fast threads are changing, like how many new threads are up there, and how long it takes for a thread to fall down to the second page type thing.
Well, I think
Like they got threads.
I think part of that is probably because certain threads kind of become community centers for a while. Like remember,
Yeah.
Well, I know. I feel like the comic ones that always do that, but it's just that it just seems pretty light with the terms of other threads besides, say, a comic thread, or maybe something about some fan art, and maybe something which people are interested in, like that EGS strip saying thread.
Right.
It's just
Well, I mean,
very little else.
Those could be the community threads for right now. I mean, I know that for the longest time, the War thread, Last Post Wins, and Mossy Null were the community threads, and they never left the first page. Of course, you know.
That was
Which is
pretty
actually
much the
back
same
to-
for Keenfans, whilst I was still doing it.
Yes, it was.
Ah, those were the days when I still updated stuff regularly.
Yes.
Ah.
Okay, let's move on to comic news then. We did...
And the other thing is with the forums, Mayhem looks to have some more RPs. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's Mayhem's almost become a RP breeding ground.
Yes.
It's like the games are kind of dead now.
At the moment, it's sort of gone back to those type of RP type things. Yeah.
Watch out, that RP is just breeded with that other RP and created a third one. My god, it's an unholy monster.
Killerfish, you have no idea how
Actually,
true
that's
that
happened.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, Mossy Null was actually the bastard love child of about 15 different RPs.
And a few games too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so comic news. We do have a new comic up, and it looks just gorgeous. I think this is, honestly, quite frankly, I don't think I have ever seen Dan's art style and storytelling, pacing, and all that ever be as good as his most recent entry. Of course, that's my opinion.
Yes. I'll wait a second whilst my computer, which is being slow, allows me to go to ETS, so I can actually take a look at it.
Oh, you don't have it on?
Yeah, well, it looks good.
No, I don't. You confuse me with your acronyms and your fancy ways and your MP3 players.
But I mean,
I'll say that it looks good. From the looks of it, I'm still a bit. I don't know. I'm undecided about the look for that history teacher. Partly because for the life of me, cannot even think of a teacher wearing anything like that.
I can. I don't know anybody that's worn exactly that, but I've known teachers that have worn as flamboyant an outfit as that.
Okay. I do find it interesting that the principal's called Principal Washington.
You know, if you
And it looks to be
gave him a
African-American.
waistcoat and gave him a rapier, he'd be wearing exactly what I was wearing at Comic Con.
I didn't even notice that. The only thing missing is the big poofy hair.
Which is also missing from me now.
Hey, well, there you go.
Yeah. We all know the history of my hair.
But yeah, I'm just glad that the principal of the, what is this, Moperville South, or what is this school?
Yeah, Moperville South, I think.
Yeah. I'm just glad he's not quite as stereotypical.
Someone's going to correct us if we get it wrong.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm just glad he's not quite as stereotypical as the principal of Moperville North. Although
9!
Yeah.
He is quite
Technically, technically he could be seen as maybe sort of, going for the stereotype, but I'm sort of thinking more along the lines of some of those high school shows which from the US. I'm trying to think of the one that David E. Kelly made that had 7 and 9 in it.
Well,
I can't think of what it was called.
What's it?
Jerry Ryan. I just got this idea of 7 of 9
Yeah.
in a 20th century American high school classroom.
You will assimilate this
21st
knowledge.
century. 21st century, remember?
No. All of the best American high school sitcom shows were done in the 20th century. There are no good ones anymore.
No.
Well, this was from about, it had to be most 5 years ago at least. Can't think of what the damn show was called.
Sorry, Squato, your mic keeps cutting out, so I'm making fun of it.
Can you hear better?
No, because you were speaking right into the microphone and we didn't really understand what you're talking about.
Good.
Right.
I fart in your general direction.
Okay.
Foul.
And that was the quote from
Monty Python.
that movie.
Monty
Yes.
Python and the Holy Grail, the Frenchman on top of the castle, even though technically that wasn't actually a real castle, it was a small wall that they built.
It's only
Yes,
a model.
film nerd.
Yes, yes, your model.
Okay, miscellaneous news. Let's just talk a little bit.
One other little thing with the comic is that there was that from Monday.
The filler, yes.
Otherwise, I'm just thinking there was something on DA which I noticed that Dan said. I'm just trying to grab it up again. Not to be a pain. Figured it might be
Whilst
worth
you're doing
noting.
that, could one of you give me a suggestion for something to draw in Macromedia Flash whilst we're talking, and I'll draw it as we talk, then post it up on the forums when we actually put this up.
You hitting one of us while the other one cheers you on for doing it.
Me hitting one of you whilst the other one cheers me on.
Yes,
Okay.
go with that.
What personas are we doing this in? Are we doing this in forum personas?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yes, other forum comic news. Dan's birthday.
Right. Didn't we do that last week?
No.
No? Oh.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we might have touched on it lightly. But
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I know what it was. I was chatting with Killerfish. Never mind. Okay. Yes. Happy birthday, Dan.
Yeah. Yes. Happy 25th.
I forgot to post your present, Dan. I'm sorry. I'll have to
I think it looked
give
like
it to
everyone
you
forgot.
at Comic Con. No, I have got a present for him, but I'll have to give it to him physically.
No. This year there was no Freds for his birthday.
Yeah, it's because I
Unlike
usually
previous
do
year.
it. I've done it for the last 2 years.
Interesting.
These other little things.
Assignments for all three of us.
Looks
for
like
next
Dan's
week.
interested in Dragon Girls. On DA, he's got this big journal entry about Dragon Girls and how they should have proper breasts.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that.
And Dan tries to show himself as looking normal. And he does stuff like this.
So, okay.
That's all I can say is,
Assignments for all three of us for next week. Get on the freaking forums more often.
Indeed.
I mean,
Maybe.
Even if it's just to read up on what's been going on, just so that we're up to date, and like Killerfish doing a birthday thread. At this point, it would be belated, but that kind of thing. Just getting on the forum so we have something to talk about.
He should be used to it.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I drop off the face of the planet every other week. Literally.
You've dropped off twice in this conversation already.
Oh no, I've dropped off the face of the planet again.
All right, you fulfilled your quota of dropping off the face of the planet.
We're going to tie you up now.
Okay, on to miscellaneous news, and I kind of thought we should take this opportunity, to talk about what's been going on in our lives, why we have been, like, in my case, why I've been absent from the forums and held back in doing the editing for the podcast. I'll go ahead and start it out. Those of you who have not had a chance to communicate much with me, I have managed to get myself a job at the Apple Store, which is the retail division of Apple Computer, Apple Incorporated. They're no longer Apple Computer. And I have been doing training literally 5 days out of the last 6. And that's taken up a huge chunk of my day. So that's why the BunnyCast has taken so long to get edited. It will be posted after we finish recording this one, and we've decided that we're going to do the BunnyCasts. We're going to record weekly and have them up by the time that we record the next week's episode. So there will be a bit of a lag between whatever questions you have about a particular episode and when they get answered, probably a 2-week lag.
And we should be getting better with them in time. Remember, this is early days with us.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, how about you, Killerfish? What do you got going?
Oh, temping, making money for trip over to Comic Con. Should have enough by next week to afford a flight over there. And due to some very, very kind soul taking me in, off the streets.
Would this
I
be
won't
your
have
mother?
to worry too much. Yeah. I won't have to worry too much about finding some place to stay whilst I'm over there for this year.
Oh,
I hope.
well, yeah, I think Jolene and I are still hosting people. I will have to ask her about that just to be sure. How about you, Squato? What's going on?
Let me see. Worked a bit more, so it's like with just normal work. Few little other things came up, like IDs for stores and things like that. We seem to be going crazy with coming up with ideas for stories at the moment for some weird reason. I don't know. Maybe my muse is going. It's just throwing shit at me.
Well, don't you mean me? Because I kind of gave you an idea as well. Well, we've been discussing an idea.
That was one idea. Yes, that was one idea. Otherwise, I look to be getting my car back on the road after about a week off for repairs.
You people with your dependency on petrol-driven technology, why can't you be more green and walk everywhere you go like I do?
Well, you see, because instead of living on a tiny little island, we live in places that are much larger.
Small. It's not that small.
Are you kidding?
We have several cities on there. It's about the size of Texas. Come on.
And pretty much most of the states in Australia are bigger than Texas, and most of the surrounding states too. So, what does that mean for then for England?
We ruled an empire, you know.
Yeah, but what have you done for us lately?
We forced you to take up democracy and make constitutions because we were oppressing you.
Damn you! I'm kidding.
Actually, that's more America type thing. America forcing democracy on the countries they forced them to support in the early days of the Cold War.
Right. Okay, so what would you least like to be turned into?
Have you been watching the BBC again?
They're not that left-wing.
Right. Okay, moving on. Alright, so...
As to me being... What's the least thing I'd be TF'd into? I don't know, surprise me.
Squato slug.
For some reason I actually had that in mind. I didn't want to say anything, but... Okay.
Okay, well, in absence of any other discussion topic, and no guests or anything like that, and feel free...
Not at this stage yet.
Right. In any...
Like many... What I mean by that, I should say this is for the listeners. We haven't put any down yet because it seems to be we partially feel that it's a bit too early as of yet to get any guests in, and also the guests seem to not be ready to speak because they don't have microphones and such.
Yeah, that's a big hurdle. So, Killerfish and I were discussing possible topics, and given that Killerfish was slightly inebriated, I think we should go with the original topic that
Slander! I wasn't inebriated.
You were drunk.
I was merely tipsy.
My original...
I'll just say you were pissed. Make it happen.
Yeah, well, see, that word has the connotation of being angry in America, so that doesn't really work either.
Pissed means drunk. It also means going to the toilet in Australia, and it also means getting angry too. It just depends on the way you use it. It's one of those words for Australians.
I was slaughtered, which indicates a high degree of inebriation, even though I only drank half a glass of beer.
I just think it's really interesting the amount of words in the English language which are associated in some way with getting drunk. Like there seems to be more ways of getting drunk than just, say, eating or something along those lines.
Anyways, I don't get drunk, so for the most part, I wouldn't know.
Sure.
So the topic that I think we kind of got stuck with because it was the first thing I threw out and we didn't really have anything better come up was transgenderism. So unless Squato has a better idea, then that's what we're going to go with for now.
Yeah.
We're all looking at you, Squato.
Yes, looking at you with evil eyes.
My coat of solitude is over me, so you cannot see me.
Good comic, Reverend.
That doesn't work in real life. I've tried
It does if I say it does. It does if I say it does.
Okay, so how should we start this? Just basically addressing what it means, I think.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
What it means to each of us as well, I think.
Now, being
What we get out of it.
right, being kind of the reigning expert at this current venue on the subject.
Reigning in expert in the sense that he just said he was.
Well, I don't.
I claim to be a reigning expert.
We'll get into that at another time. I think for the purposes of just about everybody I've discussed the idea with that actually makes it part of their declaration of who they are that they're transgendered. It's a matter of not feeling like the body that you're in is the body that you're supposed to have, but there's a bit more to it than that. The problem with transgenderism is that it's very hard for a transgendered person to describe what that state is to somebody who's not. And believe me, I've been struggling with this for, oh good heavens, since I was 15, trying to figure out what it all means. But if you want a more clinical...
So half your life.
Yeah, pretty much. That's when I made the realization that what I was going through was different than what everybody else was going through. A more clinical definition would be somebody who, for whatever reason, chooses to identify more closely with a member of the opposite sex than what they are natively. Commentary? Questions?
I think it's a bit. I think the transgenderism is sort of more a bit of a big. Seems to be a bit wider of a subject than just the definition you gave. Well, at least as it was perceived by the general population and how it's reported as such in the media and things like that. I'll give you an example. A guy plays, say, World of Warcraft with a female character, things like that. Which is very common with those games for various reasons.
Because he likes looking at girls.
Or they like to play a role.
Yeah,
different to their own.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. For myself, I don't think that's transgenderism, specifically because that's not really who they identify themselves as to the world at large.
Well, some do, and some seem to have, like they've said that they've done that because, like, played those characters and that because it's allowed them the freedom to express themselves like that in a way which they feel they may not have actually had the opportunity to do so in real life. And some of them actually found this to be desirable and have then taken the steps, in some cases actually getting an operation, things like that.
Well, that's from my perspective, that would be more of that's the vehicle through which they discover their transgendered nature. Like I know a few bunnies that we wound up, of course, due to common interest being very close, their entire transgendered identity came about because they found comics like El Shive or Mistfile or The Watch and said, you know what, I really strongly identify with that character. Now let's explore why, and they went down that path and discovered, hey, this is how I am and who I am. So for me, that's kind of the essence of transgenderedness, and that's why I don't think the people who simply take on one of these roles for a game could qualify as being transgendered, because it is literally it's just a character that they have on the screen. It's not like I am Killerman Slaughtermaster, and I have
Stop giving away my secret identities.
and I have size triple E boobs. You know, that's just a character for them. That when they put.
I'm just wondering how many people who are listening to this just got that image of you with those size boobs in their mind.
For the person when they put down their mouse and they're just Joe Blow on the street, and they don't go on about how they are this character, that is literally all that is to them, is just a character on the screen. It's like your average person picking up Tomb Raider and playing Lara Croft. Well, Lara Croft has decent-sized breasts, a nice figure, and a good brain, but that doesn't mean that that's who the person
Depending
is.
on which version of her you play.
True.
But she's
Lara
had large
Croft,
breasts.
brain lobotomy. I'm gonna go into this tomb and shoot at things. They're scary.
Okay. So, anyways.
Okay. Well, you know what his free time is like.
So in any case, that's where I'm at on that. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm agreeing with you on some points, but I'm sort of feeling that it seems to be more of a case of, if anything, probably levels of anything. Like, you're more talking about the extreme type level. I'm sort of seem to be talking more with the mid type level, which is that those people that might experiment with that, like more than just the ones that play the character because they like play a female character on those type of games because they see a nice ass to look at, and they're playing it because it gives them something different, maybe a way to question things about them, but in the end it doesn't actually lead to them getting to that stage, but they do actually question components of themselves.
So you mean it's more of a way for them to stand back and look at themselves as a person wholly, in that aspect?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm starting to sound serious. Hang on. Gherkins, pickle, gherkins. Kielbasa sausages.
How long do you think he'd go on if we let him?
As long
Do you
as
set a
I
clock?
can.
I can put something on I can cook something if we want. You can test it against that.
That's okay.
Hey, just stick a bit of music on and I'll just make up words for it as I go along. You know me. I like pancakes. Eating pancakes is so fun.
Okay. No. Moving.
We'll stop now.
Getting back to the topic. Well, okay. So let's talk about a little bit with Squato. How you wound up with this character of Squato and Vixa, and you did identify quite strongly with those characters for some time. Is this kind of like what you're talking about, where you're exploring? Go ahead and talk about that.
In a stage, in a way, yeah. There probably would be, yeah.
Well,
whatever the hell that random sound was.
Yeah, don't extrapolate too much. We don't have time to fill or anything like that.
Yeah, we only have 2 hours of talking time.
Okay, Killerfish, you actually kind of made a little bit of a commentary on the transgenderedness in Keenfans at one point with what was the one character, the female elf character?
Faye.
Faye, yes.
Yeah.
If you don't to interrupt too much, but just thinking, well, if you want to have Killerfish talk about that, and I can sort of think a bit more about the Squato and all that type of stuff, if you want, come back to me.
Sure.
I might have something
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about what led to that comic a little bit, if you could?
What led to the creation of Faye,
Yeah.
and in effect the creation of Dark and Bruce and Fingers, and whoever the hell else I've got now. I find it easier not to name them, because if I name them, I end up keeping them, and I'll never get.
Gotta get them all. Gotta get them all.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason for doing that was to come up with an in-story method of giving my avatar the power to shapeshift. Because, hey, I'm more into transformation, which is mainly because of my of the childhood I have of bullying and not really having that much of a sense of identity, so therefore taking on the identity of creatures which are big and tough in order to compensate for that. Woo, psychoanalyst.
I'm just wondering how many people listening to this at the moment are going, I can identify with that.
Yeah. Anyway, basically...
Please tell us if you are.
Basically, the whole point of the character was to give the character shape-shifting abilities, and I remember Dan saying once that you can't zap somebody with a form and give them shape-shifting powers unless you have a really, really powerful gun to do it. So I thought, hey, I've got this comic, I'll just have Ted in it in a really, really powerful gun to zap me with shape-shifting powers.
Yes, I love that, man.
So in other words, it's challenge set then. Thank you.
Challenge set, challenge accepted. So yeah. Then about a month afterwards, I kind of thought, okay, I've had these powers in the comic for about a month now, but I haven't actually shown myself using them at all. So let's do something funny with that. So I had my character sneeze because he had an allergic reaction to gaining shape-shifting powers, and when he sneezed, parts of him transformed. There was an octopus arm, and there was an arm which was supposed to be a wing, but had only grown up over the things, so indicating some sort
probably
of...
shouldn't be.
Yeah, the octoparrot. And of course there was the elf, because I've got the whole elf thing going. I've got the whole elf thing going on down. Yes.
It sounded like you said elk at the first.
Elf, yeah. Yes, elk.
Go with those antlers then.
And because I'd drawn this nifty little uniform for myself, the green and grey uniform that I had going at the time, because it was supposed to be a Uri-Omen worker suit, which was modified to reflect my colours and my gang colours, with me and my homies all wearing the same gang colours. Anyway.
Yes, while they sip tea and eat crumpets.
Hey. We plan stuff too.
Say again?
What do you do?
We plan stuff too.
Let me guess, this stuff you plan is in terms of you beat people up to classical music type things.
Well, it's Morris.
Well, you listen to your
Morris dance
Orange.
beating up. So we beat people up to the tune of Morris dancing. Smack, smack.
In time with the music.
That's tradition. That's traditional with Celtic dancing, anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to the thing. After I'd done that, I thought, well, my characters are pretty smart, and they're supposed to be clever. So I'll make it so that my main character decides to split off all of these different forms, so he doesn't have the problem with being allergic to shapeshifting anymore. And that created the four, which was normal me, Faye, Bruce, and Fingers, and I had the bunnies help me name the other three.
Bunny,
and
it's
then,
good for naming things.
yeah, you guys really came through for that. I really appreciate it. And then I just thought, let's just see what happens if I give one evil cola and make him evil. And that's how Dark was born. So Dark is actually supposed to be the original one, and the other three are the duplicates. But there wasn't any deliberate attempt there to specifically have a character who was female. It just turned out that way. And of course, I made this character completely opposite to the real life me in every way, shape, or form, because I, in my head, play acted that the character was rebelling against the nature that I had previously. And yeah.
No, so it's funny. It's kind of an interesting point because you actually show her, or explained it to me at least. Don't know if others are aware of it. Is that she seems to be a bit of a person that cares for what happens. She's in a sense a slight empath type thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Empath.
Use that term.
Oh God.
So well,
is this
how many weird names for superpowers do they have around the superhero comics anyway?
I'm just wondering if this in any way relates to mental masturbation at all.
Thank you for going there, Homer. Thank you.
That's my job. I've just made your life deeper and richer.
Well, for anyone that's not American, we can just pass it off as him being American, so he's forcing it just down our throats. For Americans, he can just shoot guns in the air and go, woohoo!
What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, about Faye as well. People might have noticed that she tends to, she has a thing for Squato. It's not really not really been put up too much, but she has a thing for Squato.
I'm just thinking about how that comment's going to be taken.
Yeah. Well, what straight guy
I can
would
tell you
want
now,
to have a female version of them, which is a lesbian, really?
You just had to put that out there, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
See, I'm not the only one.
We're all freaks at heart. Freaks! Freaks!
It's just my basically female orientated preferences. Yes.
And your mother walks in 5, 4, 3.
She's watching TV downstairs, so.
You actually remind
Ooh,
me.
safe!
Yes, the brain-sucking box. You actually remind me of a dream I had last night.
This is fun.
And no, it was not.
Or disturbing.
It was not sex-based, so just get that out of your heads right now.
Oh.
Homer, you know me. Most of the things I blush whilst typing the word sex on MSN.
Well, this one gets a little bit odd, and we were talking about online games, so this fits perfectly.
Or disturbingly. I'm just trying to think how this all relates in.
Okay, so Killerfish and I are waiting for Jolene at a building. I'm not sure what the building was per se, but we decided it was getting dark. The sun was setting, so we decided to explore a little bit, just have some fun while we were waiting. Nothing important seemed to be happening, so we split up, and Killerfish wound up meeting with me, and he showed me. This is where it starts to get a little weird. A crossbow combined with a grilled cheese sandwich.
A little?
Well, everything
Crossbow combined with a grilled cheese sandwich. Sounds like me. Sounds like the sort of thing I'd do.
Well, so Killerfish explains it's a component for a spell that somebody had screwed up and gotten killed in trying to make, and asked if I knew why they had died. And I said, no. And he said, because somebody. And at this point, the point of view shifts to inside of a burning building. remarkably like the one Killerfish and I were waiting at, while the camera pointed upwards at some ceiling timbers that we're still holding. And Killerfish was squatting down on the ceiling timbers, holding his spell book open to the page with the grilled cheese crossbow.
He was doing what with me?
No, not you. He was holding a spellbook open to a page with a grilled cheese crossbow and saying tauntingly while waggling the open spellbook down at the burning remains of whoever was inside the building and saying in a sing-song voice, "Somebody can't read the directions." And then, as he's saying this, it goes into sort of a montage of different scenes over time, almost exactly the same, but you can tell that it's Killerfish going from being just a regular spellcaster to a super-duper epic master hyper death warlock spellcaster. And, you know at this point...
So, from Order of the Stick type guy.
More like, we'll go with Order of the Stick, since that's what most everybody's likely to know. But you can tell at this point that we're actually watching the Killerfish character inside of one of those MMORPGs, and not the real life. But we'll get back to the real life in a minute. And then the scene settles on what is clearly the most powerful form. That there's no higher power level that you can get in this game. It's and then
it's over 9,000 otherwise.
Yes, over 9,000. And then this is don't take this personally, Killerfish. Remember, this is a dream. The scene changes to a wedding between Killerfish's warlock character and my character, which is an obviously female super hyper kill a planet and let God sort him out mega angelic paladin, and obviously also as high a power level as the game will allow. We've just completed the most high power epic level quest available, one specifically designed just for the two of us, and there's lots of cheering as the ceremony is completed, and then suddenly the scene shifts showing Killerfish and I in real life as players standing amidst a cheering crowd of the developers and some other players and some reporters and all that kind of thing. And we make our bows and we apologize because we really must be going because, well, we got to get back to looking for Jolene, which apparently she still hasn't been found after all this time. and this female executive is escorting us out of the building, which turns out to be the same building we were waiting for my wife outside of earlier. And this executive tells us that their gift to us is that we can make daily deposits. And what this means is that both Killerfish and I would be able to pay them more money, which would translate into gold in the game. But what's stupid about that is obviously by this time we have so much gold in the game that we could buy 2 of every single item in the game and not make a dent in the massive gold hoard that we have. And so I turn to this lady and I say, "You're such a romantic." And that line just stands out in my head. And she got a weird look on her face, closed the door. And as Killerfish and I are walking off, these sparkles appear around us, and we slowly start to change, and I say to Killerfish, "Do you think we should tell them about the bug?" And Killerfish says, "Nah, we'll just close it ourselves and keep it from falling into the hands of someone who will misuse it." And by the time he finishes talking, we've both fully transformed into our characters. Killerfish telepaths back home, and I go searching for Jolene by flying around, like, really super, super fast.
Well, of course, that indicates that I actually know something about computers. In this
well, the idea is that in the game, our characters had found a bug that let them push themselves through onto and merge with us in real life, kind of thing. Because they were just that powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. The three thoughts are coming through my mind after that. I'm thinking you're meant to be this Valkyrie type thing going on now, Homer. I'm just thinking of the comment last week about the ego stroking apparently with me. And the third, thankfully, has just disappeared.
In any case, Killerfish talking about slowly turning into dark made me think of that.
Yes, I am, in fact.
Okay.
Slowly turning into dark.
But the dream was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. 5 stars.
Yes, I'll have to try that dream next time I'm out in the place where I buy my dreams from. Because we all know that you can get cheaper ones in Walmart and all these like chain stores, which like Target or wherever. But it's best to go kind of like for a free range dream, you know, something that you can enjoy and like has a lot more handcrafted dream stuff in it.
And no preservatives.
Yes, no preservatives.
Also, Homer,
Yes.
keep talking because the nice people that will take you away will be coming soon. After that dream. See, they even give you a nice jacket when you go, too.
I've got 10 like that.
I just love how whatever chance we had of being a legitimate conversation has just gone right out the window.
Well.
Yeah, that when you started talking to me.
Oh, so
Which
like before
was
the podcast.
about almost 2 years ago now. Oh, Christ.
Right, I'm almost finished sketching out this image that I'm drawing for us.
Okay. So okay.
I don't know what I can say that's going to top that dream now.
Well, don't worry about topping it. Good heavens, nobody's going to top that. I'm just that good.
And I check in for psychiatric therapy.
Okay, Squato, you wanted us to come back to you on the Squato Vixa thing?
If you want, I could probably have regained control of myself.
All right, well, we'll come back to you again later. Well, let's see here. This would probably be a good time for a rant.
Let's get ready to run.
Cue music. Stop music. Stop it. Okay, thank you. Let's. I just want to. I know I've ranted to some people about this in the past, but I want to just put it out there in the open so that I can get it on my get it off my chest one last time, so that everybody hears it. And that is this whole notion.
Until the next time.
Yes. Staying on the topic of transgenderedness, the thing that pisses me off about transgendered is the whiny emo bitchiness of I was born in the wrong body. No, you weren't, and here's why. I'm gonna address this from both the naturalist side and the spiritual side. So let's get started. Number one, naturalist. You were born based on the genetic code that came from your mother and father, and that it occurred because one bit of sperm got into one egg. There was no possibility of any other sort of genetic code creeping into that egg to say, oh, this person's supposed to be a girl, let's make them a guy. No, doesn't happen. What happened is the way...
You're safe, Doc.
What?
What?
You're safe, Doc. They won't. They don't know it.
They don't know about my secret genetic experiments. Good.
No.
Good. Anyway, continue.
Okay, continuing. You were born as a guy because that's how you were supposed to be born because of the genetic code in your cells, in your DNA. No other way to do it. That's the way nature works. That's the way humans reproduce. That's the way every single creature that reproduces sexually on the planet reproduces. Now, let's go over to the spiritual side. What?
Those are actually... Well, I'm just sort of thinking probably not all of them, because some of them, well, technically some of the asexual ones actually have sex, and there's all these little fun little things with some of them. So just say most, just to keep it safe.
What asexual means? They don't have sex. They reproduce.
Actually, some of them do. It depends on some of these species. Some of these species just actually, they actually do have sex. And it's more of an act that actually leads to the body undergoing the process of the asexual birth,
Well, yeah,
than
but
actual.
they're not.
It's all these.
Are they imparting genetic code into the other creature for the purposes of producing another new creature?
Some of them are, but I can't. But I'm not really going to go into it because I can't think of any examples offhand,
Right.
and I don't really want to bother looking it up.
I cannot be bothered to look stuff up.
Okay, so back to the rant. Let's talk about the spiritual side for a second. Let's just go with the idea that there are spirits inside of our bodies, which I happen to believe.
Not in the Scientology type way.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Scientology. That's a whole nother rant. So there's spirits in our bodies, which would mean that a creator of some sort put them there, and that means that creator would have to be in some way omnipotent and omniscient, and knowing what is supposed to go where. Now, I'm not saying that because you were a guy put in a guy's body means that you have to go out and be the stereotypical guy. I mean, I'm clearly not that. But what you are not is... thank you. What you are not is a girl in a guy's body. Period. There is no, oh, well, God made a mistake, or heaven made a mistake, or the goddess intended for me to be female, because any being that would be able to create you as a human, as somebody who is supposed to be on this planet and put a spirit in your body, will not have ever made that mistake. You are the way you are for a reason if we go from the spiritual side. So, naturally and spiritually, there's no question. There's never going to be anybody who's supposed to be a girl. You are choosing it, and I'm choosing it. Now, here's the thing. You can choose this and still be a guy, because there is no one thing that defines a guy other than what's between their legs, what the function of the person is in the reproductive process. And because all the other stuff, like guys are supposed to wear a certain kind of clothing, guys are supposed to participate in a certain type of activity, guys are supposed to fulfill a certain role in society, guys are supposed to fulfill a certain role in the family, all of those little bits have been traded off between men and women throughout the ages. I think the next most liberal society in history compared to the modern Western societies, where women and men are practically equal in every way except for reproductive capacity and maybe a little bit of earning capability depending on which country you're talking about, then the next most liberal one was the Roman Empire, and they had these ridiculously non-binding... What?
A bit of a debate between that. Technically speaking, in some ways the Egyptians seem to be more liberal-minded.
No, they had very clearly defined sex roles. I mean, they may have considered men and women to be morally and spiritually and perhaps even governmentally equal, but they were very rigid roles. Women do this, men do this. So
yeah, but in other ways that women actually had a lot more say in things than men would have. Than in some of these other societies, like for example, Rome. Like take for example, even though Egypt didn't really have any voting type systems, which the Romans did, women they did have a say in what happened in the governments and things like that. Also, women. This is just me trying to recall things from what I had to study a couple of years ago, so sorry if it's incorrect or it's outdated, is that women, unlike in Roman society where women were, even though they were allowed to have their own views and says and things, and have their own opinions, they were effectively just the property of the man of the house, same as pretty much everyone but him. In Egyptian society, this is the old days, like about 30...
Last Tuesday.
like about 4,000 odd years ago, it's largely that women had got control of things like that. So if there was a property dispute, there was a divorce, unlike in Roman society where the women got... Roman society where the women got nothing, the women in Egyptian society had equal rights to the house or property and things like that.
I wasn't aware they even had divorces, but hey, there you go. So,
and that's somebody who apparently thinks he knows what he's talking about.
And look at that! You have completely derailed my rant.
Yay!
Well, I guess this.
And he was building up such a good rant as well.
I guess this means that you.
I was listening avidly. That's why I don't say anything when you guys talk, because I'm listening avidly.
I guess this means
and you're drawing at the same time.
I guess this means that we get to focus on you and your Squato Vixa thing, Squato.
Just a second, I need to close the door to speak then.
So...
And back again. The reason why I had to go before is because my cat was deciding to show that she would like to come into my bedroom now because her bed is in here by shaking the door to pieces.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just what I mean by that is she literally puts her paw underneath the door and you just hear it go bang, 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 bang.
That's a point we should talk about. All of us have cats. All of us hosts have cats.
Don't let Squato up.
Is that something... Oh, sorry. Yes.
Do you have a cat?
Yeah, I have a cat.
I was never aware of that.
Well, I mentioned it last week.
Good for me then. I forgot that point.
Anyway. Squato. Dog.
You're popular then. Just looking at me. Yeah. I have to say that in many ways, like the characters like with Squato and all that, and Vixa and all that, they basically are in many ways just characters and things like that, but other things seem to have gone on with more than just... I'm just trying to think of the best spot to start. That's why I'm sort of pausing and while I'm speaking here for now, because once I sort of get rolling, it just will keep going, I feel.
He's like the juggernaut.
Yes, bitch. You're my bitch.
Am I? That's a surprise to me.
Well, Dark is...
who's in the relationship with Squato?
Yeah, I was going to say, Dark is in a relationship with Squato, and I can't possibly ever see Squato ever being anybody's bitch, so...
Well, that leads to a question of who wears the pants in that relationship too.
Well, Dark does wear tights, so...
He's men in tights. Tights.
He also wears a nifty cape.
And has his hair done too.
Yeah, well, less about that the better. Hey, it's cheaper to do it that way, okay?
Sure it is. Sure.
That's a decision, he's sticking with it.
Sure it is. Sure. I just don't think, yeah, like I said, all characters type thing, like, really, I had no control over how these characters developed in the first place, really. It actually, they all were things associated with the bunnies, really. Like, Squato itself was just, that's a funny story. For those that don't know, Squato actually came because of some newbie that was on the forums about 2.5 odd years ago, was on there and was following me around saying, I'm going to change you into a girl and you're going to be my girlfriend type thing. It's like, and they did this for a month and I'm like, okay. And I'm just sort of thinking, if you're going to do it type thing. And there was always seemed to be some reason why they didn't do it, and then in the end they did it and it's like, well, you waited a month, so why not do something which you don't expect? And all of a sudden after the TF gun was fired, the female version of me attacked. And that came out, and apparently it was a big hit on the forums. So that was how Squato came around.
Fortuitous accident or planned? You decide. We'll be here next week on Mysteries of the Forums.
Dun dun dun. I would like to point out that Squato is the only reason that Helen actually turned out to be a good character, because there's Squato being totally evil. Homernet was never going to be an evil character, and then
Evil light.
Margarine of evil. Diet evil, perhaps. Oh yeah, Doc Evil, he throws the best parties, you know. But he tends to go on and on. The thing you do is you just nod when he talks at you and hope you haven't agreed to help him with his plan of world destruction.
Or want to be his test subject for his tank of sharks with lasers on their heads.
Oh no, I got drafted into that, but fortunately I was being dark at the time, so therefore I regenerated my entire arm.
Fun.
right. Okay.
It was mildly itchy.
And that arm was digested by that fish, and that fish turned into a freak who now battles
Who now draws
against
comics online.
Planeteers.
Just to further talk about Squato, I remember pretty much almost as soon as Squato started becoming, almost as soon as everybody heard about Squato, they wanted to bring Squato out in whatever the thread was at the time. And
Oh yes, that always was the case. I always had to find reasons to dodge these attempts.
I mean, I'm thinking specifically of Mossy Knoll during the picnic, and somebody got the bright idea of unleashing Squato in the middle of the picnic in Mossy Knoll. And I remember talking with you, Squato, about possible plans to take care of Squato in a as non-destructive a way as possible. And at the time, I had recently been Homernet had recently been turned into Ranmachan Homernet through an accident with John Og, and it was what I was thinking was pairing up Ranmachan Homernet versus Squato, but you nixed the idea for a reason I can't even remember. But then it got to be, well, who's sexier? Is it Squato or is it Helen? And that eventually turned into the cheesecake picture, which thankfully actually turned into a meme on its own without any further promotion.
Well, the one I drew?
Yes, the one you drew.
Yeah.
Ah. I've actually got that
Apparently
up right now, using it for referencing.
Apparently there was a vote about that, and apparently the forums, I think it's meant to be, they think Helennet was meant to be the more sexier.
So there.
But apparently, I'm not sure. I think it was meant to be a close vote. I don't know how it goes. The bunny vote thing was a while ago anyway. Yeah, but back to what I was trying to say before.
You decide who is sexier. Helen? Squato. Squato.
So the entirety of
He's gonna stab ya in the eyeballs and maybe the spleen.
So basically, the entirety of this grand experiment, sociological experiment, known as Elguna's Shive, has turned into nothing more than a hot or not website.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, we still read the comic every now and again. Occasionally. There's a comic! Who is this Dan Shive? And why is he interfering in our forums?
That's not too dissimilar a comment that actually some people would make on Mayhem. Especially the ones which don't have anything to do with the main part of the forums.
Yeah, that surprised me the first time I encountered somebody who was not a bunny on the Mayhem forums. I'm like, what are you doing here? Go away. Actually,
no, but what I was trying to...
Go ahead.
Go?
No. I have something entirely unrelated to talk about. You were talking. Go ahead. Take the stage.
All right. Okay. The light is blinding now. What else? Oh yeah, so that's how Squato basically developed in the first place with the forum, and for many ways that was just meant to be a one-off type thing, but it seemed to be a mine which people were interested in, and then I went, oh, what the hell, I'll bring it back one more time, just sort of to see if this kills it, and it didn't actually kill it, and I was like, okay, well, this seems to be doing something, and it got interesting enough, and I can't remember what it was that caused it, but it came out again, and Squato came out again, and I was sort of thinking, this actually although it's her fighting and all that type of thing, I actually started to get interested in it, and it was just not more, it was in terms more of a, instead of just fighting and hurting people and things like that, there seemed to be something about the character, and I was sort of thinking, this is getting interesting, like, it seems to be part of, not so much a part of me, but something that about this is making me interested, so I sort of just went inside to develop, look into the character development, and was looking for different things, and by that
you
stage,
secretly yearns to stab people in the eyeballs.
If you want, yes. Yeah, basically I got interested, and but I also was thinking, well, I actually was very aware that this was really not me, so it was more when I was sort of actually getting into it, there was parts thinking, well, there's elements of myself that I can actually see in this character, but it's just not really me, like it's a version, if anything that's sort of split off, it's a character type thing like that. And yeah, that's basically how she sort of evolved, and she's very different she's not the actor once stab straight away type thing that she used to be. She's maybe calculating might be a way of putting it.
Perhaps, no doubt, thanks to a certain indestructible, red-eyed and long-haired dork.
Actually, that was a big thing which actually developed the character. When Killerfish actually came to the idea to me about that, I was like, huh? Because I really had no idea. I never even figured something like that. And when I thought about it, it really did seem to be something which was seemed to be natural for her, and because in terms of the character, and evolved from there, and that's why you see that relationship. And there's things that will happen with it which I'm not going to say. And Killerfish goes, yes. He gives off his evil laugh too for knowing. So yeah, that's Squato effectively in a nutshell.
Help! I'm in a nutshell. How did I get in here? I do not know.
It's actually a Pokeball.
No!
I'm just wondering what a Squato Pokemon would be like. Then.
What I choose no, not the face.
And that's your. I'm just wondering which is going to be the challenge for the artists on the forums once they hear this. What's the one they're going to have to draw from all this? Because we had that artist challenge from last week.
What was the artist challenge again?
I don't remember. I heard it like 2 or 3 times as I was doing the editing.
We'll leave it for them. There's a challenge here. Draw something that we've talked about in here, and it's up to you for whatever it will be. But you draw it, you must. Yeah. So yeah, that's Squato. Like I'm saying. Like I said, elements. If you want, even though it's more of a character, there is elements of me in there. And when I really did think about it, I seemed to be that it seemed to be more of an alternative version of me, a version of me that went differently. And in truth be told, that actually is something which has always been something I've thought about for a while. And the reason for that is simple. And people may or may not be aware, I was almost a twin.
Yes. You told me about this.
Yes, I was almost a twin. Apparently what happened is it was 2 eggs were fertilized at once, and So it would not have been an exact copy. Close, but but not not an identical twin type thing. So it could have been anything really. But what happened is apparently something went wrong with the egg and the other egg, and it died about 2 months into the pregnancy.
So,
and I kept on going.
Which gives you the whole, perhaps this is a subconscious representation of a sister you were supposed to have, but didn't.
Actually, that was not the first miscarriage in my family. There was one beforehand, but that one seems to be the one that has impacted me the most, in a sense. Even though it's happened before my birth and things like that, it is a part that's really interested me, in a sense. Like on one level, it always seems to be with me. I know when I found out about it, almost felt a little bit like there was something missing in my life. I'm not sure if that was really the case, but it sort of felt like that because I always was thinking of things like that, and it's if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand. Not a lot of people know that I was almost a starring member of the Mickey Mouse Club. It's my terrible, terrible secret.
Real life, or?
No, I'm kidding.
I don't believe you.
Actually, because you did bring that, you just did make me remember one other little bit about my life. When I was born, it was the year I was born. My sister was picked to play Mary Magdalene for her school's production of the Christmas pageant. They picked me to play Baby Jesus.
Oh dear. No.
What was funny is apparently everyone figured I was just a doll until I all of a sudden moved my hand and grabbed the guy that was playing Joseph's headscarf and pulled it off.
And you've been causing mayhem ever since.
Apparently I timed it so perfectly that it was just nothing happened. Nothing since that happened in the rest of it could be remembered. Because apparently it was at a key moment. Or something along those lines. Perfectly still beforehand. I laid in wait, and then I struck.
Like a ninja. You're practicing your ninja ways, even at an
even as an 8-month-old baby. Yes.
As an 8-year-old baby.
Oh, good God.
You can tell we have a lot of fun with these, can't you guys?
Yeah.
I wasn't addressing you. I was addressing the bunnies. You know, they're there.
I was replying for them.
Right.
They're right there. They can reply for themselves. Oh wait, no, they can't.
Talking of which,
can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Should we get on to doing some more questions from them? Because there have been still.
Actually, there's small little, not to be pain, but there was. I figured I just only covered the Squato stuff. There's also that Victor stuff too.
Go ahead.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Not to be a pain, but I'm just sort of thinking, well, if you're going to talk about one, you may as well talk about the other two.
Right.
The other two? How did you have?
Not as many as you.
Yeah, but I do have the record, I think. Although I think some people have tried to beat me at it.
Actually, yeah.
If you've got more than 15 personalities, call in and
15.
we'll.
Are you being conservative?
I am.
Call in and we'll interview each one of them. We'll dedicate a special 200-hour episode to it.
And then order it online for $9.95. Payments of 50.
By now, and you might actually get a conversation which actually stays on track for 5 minutes free.
Also, go in the draw for a free tractor. A tractor, the tool everyone wants to own, but doesn't need.
Not necessarily applicable in all states. Void where prohibited.
All states, solid, liquid, and gas.
void in all jurisdictions of Earth and the solar system, and in the next couple of universes over.
If you can read this, you must be psychic because we're talking.
No, that's another matter entirely.
Okay, back to the conversation. Back to the conversation.
Okay,
Back Killerfish.
yes.
Back Dobby. Back Dobby.
Yeah, well, the Vixer stuff, basically, that actually developed sort of in a similar way to Squato did. It was just the chat that I was in, and it was actually with, if I can remember correctly, it was between Troy, Munabi, and myself. And I knew you would say that.
Meaty.
In the jungle.
Actually, I was doing a Buck Rogers thing there, so.
Who cares?
I have you.
Yeah. Yeah, basically it was this chat we had, and for whatever reason I was TF'd into a Fox girl, and for some reason it just went, this is interesting. Instead of just a normal type of, I'm fun, having some playing around with a character type thing, I was like, I'm actually getting an interest in this, which I never expected, and I sort of played from that. I played around, and after it was changed back at the end of the thing, I sort of talked about it with Troy again, and I don't know who was the one that changed back into that Fox Girl character again, and it just sort of played around with things, and I sort of started to experiment, and this character started to develop itself. And in many ways, it was basically the complete polar opposite of what Squato was in the early form of it, at least, from what it was developing. And yeah, it started to develop and things like that. There's the next part I'll say it. I'm just going to say it here, and there is a bit that I've kept excessively secret. Around that same time, two people I know, well, they claim at least that they've developed split personalities type thing, and it was also high level of stress going on. So I just kept on thinking of this, like the Vix, what was turning into that Vixer type character, and it was on my mind until one day I was actually at work. A boss came over to me, had yelled at me, I was completely stressed, and all of a sudden, while I was just sort of stressed, it seemed to be some bit in the back of my mind seemed to be sort of just wanting to just jump around and be happy type thing for no apparent reason, instead of doing the job. And I actually caught myself before I might have done anything. And I'm not joking when I say I actually caught myself. I actually did, because I realised I was almost about to actually jump up out off this where my seat and do I can just sort of run around type thing. And I shook my. It was probably one of the most weirdest things I've ever had happen to me in my life, because I actually realised that it seemed to be the character is actually a character was almost getting up and almost took over for a little while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was able to work out what happened, and it's never happened again since. But it just seemed to be, it's just that because it was so strongly in my mind, it almost became something.
Weird. As you said,
yeah,
stress.
Yeah.
Does funny things to people.
Yeah.
Makes people do funny things.
Yeah, but since then I sort of evaluated the character and what it was meaning to me, and I actually did define that it was like Squato elements of myself, with my psyche and my mind, my spirit, my body, everything. And that's where Vixer basically developed out, and things like that.
As I said, don't name them, otherwise you'll end up keeping them.
Only name them if they become interesting enough.
If
I don't force characters. Mummy, can I keep it? It seems to attach itself to me.
I have to keep doing a personality parasite check, see if I've got any parasite personalities which attach themselves to me. after going online.
I've got this funny burning sensation on the back of my neck. It's probably guilt. Turns there and you can see it's a spider.
Ah.
So that's basically Victor, and it's the funny thing I felt about the whole thing is that Squato is this basically was in some ways this ultra-violent character, but the one that's the most controversial and in some quarters the most hated is actually Victor, which I'm very surprised about, because you would think that something like that type of character, especially the way it's evolved, is something that some people would like, but it's not. It seems to be it's not the character that these people like, that there's ill feelings that I've discovered from some people about. It seems to be it's actually just the point these people have with me, but they're just blaming it on the character. I'm not naming names, you know exactly who you are, but yeah. I'm just making the point there. If you want to make those feelings aired, really do it with if we invite you in, well, if you can ever join these. I don't know how. I'm just saying that there, or just put on comment on the forums if you want. Yeah. But yeah, truth be told, I probably play more with Vixer than Squato, because Squato, at the moment, I feel she's in an area where it's probably she's more attached with dark type thing. Yeah. So that's that out of the way. My chest is clear. I'm free. Yeah.
Well,
Right, okay. Questions from the forums?
sure.
Or unless we want to do something else? Right,
I'm
let's
listening. I'm waiting for questions. None of them are being spoken. The bunnies are not talking to us.
No,
I
no.
think it's mostly because we haven't gotten the podcast up yet.
No.
Once we get that up, I think we're gonna get a lot more questions.
Yes, and welcome to the world of tomorrow. When it happens.
Right, how about we go from Via on the main forums. He's got a very nice picture of Cowley. I'm sure that's how you pronounce it. And
Villa.
Via.
Maybe.
Via.
Tell us how you pronounce your. Please tell us how you pronounce your name.
Yes.
Yes. We asked Mumanibi that, but he said that he didn't know how to pronounce it.
I still reckon that he seems to be a rejected character from The Lion King.
Mumanibi, manibi, nibi, manumanibi. No, sorry.
It always comes back to singing with you.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's just my excessive need to show off.
I will make this comment now for what if this something that I would like to do with Keenfans ever does come to be. Please remember that it was Killerfish that's been singing the most, and try to remember that for when it does ultimately if it does happen, why it might have developed in the first place.
Stop giving them clue points.
Okay, question.
I hope you love it.
What was the question?
That's all I'm saying.
The question. Oh, sorry.
I've got the thing up.
I've got to ask it.
Theories on what kind of species is Nile or Koali is. Don't get me if I got that wrong. Bad Japanese pronunciations. Isn't she skunk?
Nayu?
One of them.
Some kind of skunk kitty, I think.
Skunk.
Skunk.
I think it's skunk, but you got to remember that Dan doesn't really do anthro faces, especially with those type of, unless there's a particular reason. And she doesn't have. She's just got a human face, so it's But a tail skunk.
Yeah. Okay. A skunk. Yes, that's our theory. Do you mean hypothesis on what kind of species? No.
I'm sorry, but my cat decided to get up out of her bed, and it fell over.
Interesting information.
That's why, if you can hear carefully, there's this loud crash in the background for me. That was what that was.
Yes, just want to make a point. It's not theory in the scientific term theory. It's if this was scientifically written out, this would be hypothesis on what kind of species no alien Callie is. Because a theory is something you've spent lots of time figuring out, I think. Like the theory of relativity.
Or the theory of why I can drop my a ball on your head.
Or the theory of Resident Evil, which is the theory which explains how they can fit grenade launchers down their pants.
and about 20 other weapons. Remember?
Oh yeah, don't forget those. Anyway,
the
next
best
question.
one I still have to reckon has got to be from Perfect Dark, or the Nintendo 64 game, where you just had these massively, hugely overpowered guns being carried around with this woman that's about 5.5 feet tall, and probably weighs about maybe about 50 kilos, maybe 55, and she's carrying around these massive weapons. And it's not just one version of this gun; she has about 2 of them.
Girls with
madness,
guns.
madness. Yes. Next question
okay,
then.
well, one from the Mayhem forums, and expect silliness here. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And you better not give me any of that 42 crap. This is from Mind Controlled Bunny.
Right,
24.
okay. My specialty
24.
area. Life.
24.
No, it's not. Stop being silly. Right.
Besides, Jack Bauer is not all that awesome. Horatio can't kick his ass.
Right. The purpose of life, the universe, and everything is to figure out what the purpose for life, the universe, and everything is. Think about it.
No recursive stuff.
Didn't say no recursive stuff. If it doesn't say no recursive paradoxical stuff, then I can get away with doing recursive paradoxical stuff.
You win this time, Dark.
Sure.
You win this time.
You didn't yell it loud enough whilst shaking your hand or whatever body part you might have.
I was mentally shaking my hand.
How do you know I wasn't shaking my hand?
It didn't sound like you were shaking your hand because I'm shaking my hand now as I speak.
You have a very noisy hand.
Yes, my hand speaks for me.
It says thank you.
That sounds remarkably like the hamster microphone that we gave you last week.
Oh, right, yes. Okay. Next question.
So ends Killerfish's career as a voiceover guy.
Next question then. Did you remember Dan's birthday is this Monday? Well, it was the Monday that we recorded it, and I forgot. We already mentioned that. Okay, next question. Why does the TFG look like a Nerf gun? It's because Ted has a deal. He has a deal with Nerf for corporate sponsorship, so he makes it look like a Nerf gun. That's my theory.
No, it would actually have their logo slapped on it about 50 times with the Nerf logo sound effects being made while it powers up, if that was the case.
Ah, right. Okay, so he doesn't have corporate sponsorship from Nerf then.
That, and it would have had at least one really annoying commercial with a bunch of kids running around like commandos, doing things that are far cooler than actually occur when you have Nerf toys.
I know. I hate those damn kids. They have so much more fun than I do.
As long as it's not the episode where they had the one where they fired that white gel type thing.
Hmm? No, I haven't seen that one.
What are you talking about?
I think it was banned, but it was this actual product. As far as I'm aware, it was an actual product for one of those Super Soaker type things where they had these kids, and they basically were firing this. It was almost this goo type thing, and it was this white goo, and it was really, really wrong from what was being shown. And you can have an idea as to why it was really, really wrong, especially when you remember that I said that it fired white goo.
White gooey stuff from a large phallic object? I can't imagine why that would be a problem.
It's the creamy filling of the Twinkies.
Yeah, so that
keep,
was...
You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that, Killer.
And which was the most disturbing part of that conversation? Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. And about 1 billion other little things.
I hate those damn kids on the advert. They had much more fun on the Space Hopper too. I got a Space Hopper, it wasn't that fun. I got a pogo stick, it wasn't that much fun either. False
because you
advertising.
kept hitting yourself in the head.
Yeah, I mean, I might have been using it the wrong way round. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the stringy part goes on the ground.
Really? I thought you attached that to your head and jumped at it. Next question.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Let's see.
Homer!
We've already been over that one. Okay, getting into the really silly stuff. How much wood would a woodchuck grace chuck if a woodchuck grace could chuck wood?
9.
It depends on how fast the woodchuck grace chucks wood. Because if it's chucking wood at a rate of 9 pieces of wood per minute, then it depends how long it's going to be chucking wood for. Are we assuming a 24-hour period here?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a very open question, because not only do we not know how much per given time period, we don't have an overall time period under which we're supposed to make the assumption.
Yeah, it's not very helpful there. I mean, come on, if you're going to ask a question like that, give us actual proper things to calculate out here. So we say, 9 pieces of wood per minute, and so that's 540 pieces of wood an hour, and that's 12,960 pieces of wood a day in a 24-hour period.
Guys, you're not making people believe you're nerds.
Oh,
All
right.
smart ones. Shh.
That's how much wood a wood grace chuck would with the wood grace chuck wood.
You so screwed that up.
Smooth.
Right. Next one, I guess, from from Dark's minion. I've been given Kleenex tissues.
Is that Jeremy form thing?
No, hang on, yeah. Where the heck did Jeremy come from? Thanks, Mum.
Ask Dan. There's your answer. Ask Dan.
Yeah, we wouldn't know that. Although,
well,
from clues that we can glean in the comic, I would have to say that Jeremy was not something that was produced in one of the labs. However, Jeremy was also not produced by the TF gun. We can be pretty firm on that.
It looks to be Earth. It looks possibly it was created on Earth, but it does look like it was actually a lab thing, or from early hints at least.
Right.
I don't know if Dan's decided to change Jeremy's character.
I suppose what I'm saying is, I don't think that this is something that Ted's father brought home from work, kind of thing. I think it was something that Ted possibly created on his own.
No, I think it was actually that. If I can remember correctly, I think it was stated that the father did bring it home from work.
Yeah.
I don't recall that being said, but I will take your word for it. Because
yes.
my brain is just that much of a steel sieve.
Well, it could be that Jeremy sprung from Dan's head instead of I think it's Athena sprang from Zeus's head, fully formed. So Jeremy sprang from Dan's head, fully formed. Okay. Next question.
Are you implying that Dan's as freaky as the Greek gods were?
Well, Zeus did seduce a woman in the form of a swan.
And a bull. And a horse.
Yeah.
Okay, see...
And
The bull and the horse.
And he also gave birth too.
The bull and the horse, I understand. But how did he do a swan?
He's Zeus. Hey, baby, I'm a swan. How about we ruffle my feathers a bit? You know what
You're entirely too good at
Oh,
that.
yeah. Bow chicka wow wow.
You're entirely too good at that.
You gotta put beyond the bow chicka wow wow. That's only the bass type of music, but if you want to really get them in the mood, you gotta get that smooth, sweet sound. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Which
Oh yeah.
you possess absolutely none of.
My darling, I can't get enough, baby.
Okay.
I'm rubbish, I know.
Yeah. I was gonna
As long
say,
as
that
he's
sounds more
not
like
as
death
fat as he
metal.
was.
My darling, I can't get enough of your love.
That's not death. Death would be like. and how many eardrums did I just burst in?
Pardon? I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, are we still on? Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. Right, next question?
Okay.
Who is it? You, yes.
I believe it was Mygo from the Mayhem forums. Burning Blood asks, "Where are the Snowdens of yesteryear?"
Next to the Snowdens of today.
Good call. Good call.
You know, just off the M25. Take a right at the Asda store, and they're just right in front of you.
Is that the of today or of yesteryear?
That's of yesteryear, yeah.
Okay,
I'm pulling off the directions of MapQuest, so obviously they should be accurate enough to find it.
They lie.
Hey, you're talking to the guy who walked 8 miles across the city of San Diego with a tourist map and didn't get lost.
What, you didn't walk 1,000 miles?
No, I walked 8 miles across San Diego, but I didn't get lost.
He did. He walked 8 miles.
And I did it again the next day too.
When he gets up? I can't think of the rest of that song now. Damn it.
Right,
Might be a good thing I can't remember the rest of that song.
we've got a good one here. Nazradith asks, "What is your favourite story arc?" Oh, sorry to that Canadian dude, because I was going to ask one from him, but I think we should do some serious ones. We'll come back to one of yours later. Anyway, what is your favourite story arc?
Party.
Party? Yeah, that's a good one.
Party in the end of it, yeah, it was controversial. I can remember how it was. I also would say, Christ,
You like Christ?
Oh Christ, Damien Ark.
Painted Black.
That's it. Thank you.
You are nobody. You do not instantly know the names of all the story arcs.
Yes, and how many Painted Black videos have I made then to counter that point?
Here's a treat for you. Try looking up the word platypus in any one of Dan's comics. You're sure to find it somewhere. That's one for you bunnies out there. Platypus.
I've got a word for everyone to look up. How many times has that defeated a
Oh, I've got to talk about my favourite story arc now, have I?
Yes, you do.
I suppose it would be. This isn't main EGS. It's actually the NP comics. Dan and the Mud.
Yes, that's a
yeah,
good one.
Yeah. I love the introduction genie, whatever the character's name was. It was
The Scrubs, Jenny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a funny guy.
That caused me to play the game for a little while, and I played like twice, and I never went back on it again because my character kept getting hit on. So I was playing.
What was your character?
I think it was a female genie.
And we said about that point of what about happens to people that play female characters online before? And you never made that point before?
Yeah, and I didn't really enjoy it because there was nothing to look at apart from text. It's no fun when you can't actually see what you're playing.
Was it ACII type text breast type thing?
Oh God, I've actually seen ASCII art that does that. It's just sad. It's like if you honestly get aroused by this, you are really, really sad. And the worst part is, I've seen it before there were automatic ASCII picture generators. So somebody actually went in and manually coded these things.
Yes, and their chances of actually ever having sex with a woman at all
None.
Just decreased by 5 points.
5? What is this, a scale of 1 to 6?
No, a scale of 1 to 2.
That works then. It's a binary state. Either you are or you're not. You're already in the -5.
Yeah, either you are having sex or you're not. So. And this from possibly the most straight-laced, who blushes at the mere mention of the word sex.
You keep saying that.
You guys are. Yeah, you guys don't have me on camera. You do not know how red my ears are right now.
We demand photos and turning of the third type.
I'll draw you a
rolling of the
picture.
third.
Draw you a
Another
picture of my
picture?
bright ears.
Lucky us. Lucky us.
Yeah. Do you know how many pictures I've actually drawn this month? You should be flattered
one.
that I'm offering to draw you pictures. Kidding. All donations made to Killerfish at killerfish.killerfish.colorfish.com.
Right.
They will help support his time in the mental hospital.
No,
Enjoy the monkey house, folks.
it'll actually help support my raging polo addiction. Yeah, I just can't get enough of those little mints with a round hole in them. I need
I'm blaming
more.
you. I've now got this weird steampunk idea with that coming from that raging polio addiction.
Yeah, but everything gives you ideas for steampunk things, Squato. It's not my fault you're steampunk orientated. You steampunker. Steampunk.
I come from a family of coal miners. What do you expect?
Really? That's interesting. I did not know that before.
So I come from a family which is descended from Scots. Does that mean I have to wear a kilt everywhere I go?
Yes.
Yes.
Damn your logic. Damn
And you also
to some place which I can't think of a name for right now.
Well, you could say, well, technically speaking, you've already done that because I've got convict past blood in me, so your ancestors did that to me.
Hey, my ancestors were Scottish, not English. I just said that.
Touche.
Ah.
Although I've got Scottish, Irish, and English blood in me too. So, 1/3
Hey, I
is
can
trying
claim
to
be
invade
Dutch
the other two, while the rest are drunk.
I can claim to be Dutch if I wanted to, because I was born there.
Yes, Clog Boy.
Ah.
That would be the most ridiculous. If you tried to live all three nationalities. That would be the most ridiculous image ever. Clog dancing while doing some high step or... Oh,
Well, my mother's side of the family's actually from New Zealand, so raising sheep whilst wearing clogs and wearing a bowler hat.
Oh, I'm not going to go to that sheep area. I'm just leaving that alone. I'm just leaving that completely alone right now.
Thank you.
Anyone that knows why the sheep jokes with New Zealand, you know why I left that alone.
And now everybody else knows too.
I can say the same for sheep jokes about Welsh. English make the same jokes about the Welsh, trust me. Which is oddly enough where my name comes from. My real name, that is. For those of you who don't know.
Bob.
Actually, why am I being all secretive about it? I pretty much draw it on every single thing that I make nowadays, so... If people don't know my name, what country you're living in? Hey, my DeviantArt account has my real name on it. Why am I being so secretive about it over a podcast?
Because you're a very strange man.
Yeah.
Actually, you just made me think of a point that was heard on the this TV show called Good Game that's on ABC, and they're talking about how online people seem to be more free, speak more freely about personal details than they would in real life, or with real people that they know in real life.
And
details about their personal lives, things like that. I just sort of think that point just sort of came up when you were saying about how you have your name pretty much broadcast everywhere around the net.
Right. For clarification, for all future possibility things, I do not get blogs. I do not understand the whole purpose behind them at all. Blogs. Yes. Those things that people go onto and talk about themselves to thousands upon thousands of people across the world. I do not understand them at all. If you're going to write something,
simple. These
keep
people
it secret. Don't put it on the internet for every single person to find. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why write them? It doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Why don't people understand this?
Killerfish.
Slap.
Thank you.
I'd like to point out that you're on an audio version of a podcast or of a blog right now. Podcasts are basically audio blogs.
Oh well.
To be fair, most blogs are completely ignorable except for when you hear them reported in the news. And when they're reported in the news, it's primarily because someone did something stupid. Like, for example, that a couple of years ago when they had that that woman that worked for that US senator, I think it was, and she talked about the affair that she had with her boss, who was the senator, which no one knew about until she talked about it on her blog.
Monica Lewinsky.
No, that was before blogs.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
I can't think of who it was, but yeah.
Yeah, some U.S. senator that doesn't have the job anymore. So.
Or a wife. Or anyone that wants to pay him.
Indeed.
Right. I said I was going to give you a question by that Canadian dude. So, here's the question. Pants, hostage bargaining chip, or healthy midnight snack? Which do you prefer?
To use them to fight crime.
I will go with hostage bargaining chip on that one.
What, so you say, don't kill that hostage, we have pants.
Well, keep in mind that here in America, pants and trousers are the same thing, whereas what we would call underwear, you would call pants. So.
No, I call it underwear.
I have had English people tear me up one side and down the other for calling underwear pants, or for not calling underwear pants. So you are an exception.
Panties. That's pants.
That was a funny noise.
That was the pants sneaking up on him.
No! Their ninja pant ways! They shall take me into their society and teach me the way of the pants. And I shall learn. I shall learn and I shall come back and I shall have my revenge on all the kilt wearers of the world. Actually, I shan't. People wearing kilts, they're pretty hard and they probably beat me up.
We've just replaced Killerfish's brain with a pair of pants. Let's find out if he notices.
For some reason, I get the feeling of wearing denim. But I'm not. Or am I? I don't know. Yes, I am. I keep forgetting.
Okay, we are now 1 hour and 37 minutes into the podcast. I think this is a good time to start doing some recap.
Right, okay.
Okay. We had some goofiness around the... What?
Yeah. Not to be interrupted, but I think there was one thing I might put in here before we can do the recap is we talked about this, the three of us have all talked about this, and one thing we have decided to do is that this is, I'm saying this all to the listeners, is that we're going to have each week we'll intend to review a webcomic, which all of us will read.
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding. Yes, okay, good call. Yes, we're going to do it sort of a book club style. One of us is going to recommend a comic for the other two to read, and then we're going to read it, and then the following week... In that week. In that week. Yes, not on the air. We're not going to sit there and fill dead silence with us just reading the comic.
No.
So, Squato...
It just made me think of this joke of... with the poker tournaments was solitaire tournament, where you see this celebrity sits on the computer just playing the game of solitaire.
On the computer, they don't know real solitaire.
Extreme solitaire.
Extreme
solitaire. We're now in our 35th hour of extreme solitaire. Joe the Hand plays the next card. Will it be the one he needs to complete the entire set? Let's find out. Over to you, Bob, in the studio.
Well, it's very exciting here because he's just pulled a card off the pile, and we can see what it is. It's a Queen of Hearts, which he should have got 10 minutes ago. It's quite exciting, and everything's going in. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, and I think they're about to kick me off air again.
What happened to the Iron Chef version then?
They cancelled it because they kept using the cards as weapons, and when you start doing that, kids will start imitating it, and they'll be flinging cards all around the playgrounds and recess areas, everything all over the countries. And
Yu-Gi-Oh did not cause that to happen anyways.
Well, they raised the generation
of children to try and shove their pets into small round objects.
Nor did it force them to shove their pets down their pants.
No, that's just an Englishman being normal.
Pikachu, I choose you. PK7, I choose you. Pikachu, no! PK7, upgrade to Desert Eagle. Mac Hall Comics, everyone. Thank you very much. So, what was the comic we were going to read this week, Squato?
We decided that I'll just point out that we decided to do it properly. Is that each week one of us will we decide that one of us will be the person that would pick a comic for the others to read, and also anyone that's reading this or listening to this too, they can also make their own views about the comics. And because I was the one sort of talking about the most, it looked like the other two decided to get lazy and left it with me.
Hey.
Now, I have a full
lazy.
list. You just seem to be most excited about it. I know when to stop what you do.
I'll have you know, I have a degree in not doing anything.
Sure.
It takes a lot of work to get a degree in being lazy, in strategically not doing anything. Because if I did something, then you'd see. Then I'd take over the world and be good and evil and whatever I was going to be doing with stuff. Yeah.
You tell yourself.
Yeah. Take that, me, you plutocratic elitist.
Give us the name of the comic.
Okay, like we said, it was ultimately went with me. Sorry, I've just got disturbed by someone trying to get my attention. Sorry. What?
Thank you for calling the furry porn line. If you would like to continue this call, please insert the name of your bank.
That was my brother, and he just knocked on the door, opened it up, and goes, I should point out my brother is 35 years old, married with a child, and he opened the door and goes, did you listen to the CDs? And they went, yes. Okay. And then left.
Dun dun dun!
That was the entire conversation. And now for the live recap. Let's go to Killerfish.
You were just about to tell us what the name of the comic was supposed to be reading. Let's go back to Squato.
Will somebody please say the name of the comic?
No!
It's Zap. It's Zap.
Yes, it was Zap. It was all meant to be Zap. It was what I was trying to say before. All of that crap happened, which this depends on how much of this is actually it's kept in the damn edit after the editing process. But yes, it's Zap.
Well, we got in a joke at your expense, though.
Yeah, I don't care. I leave myself open at times. I congratulate you for going for it.
Right.
Yeah, so going. Yes, we're reviewing Zap. Or the www.zapinspace, even though the comic is not Zap in Space.
So it's just Zap in Space, not zapinspace.com.
Yes, so it's Zap in Space, whatever.
I've got a better URL than you, .com.
That's all I can say. Yeah, we're falling on this because it's a Keen Spot comic and like EGS, so it's sort of a case of that, just falls as far as not too far from the apple tree type thing, so that's what this is about. Yeah. I should also point out that because, is it Wowro, how pronounced?
Wowio?
Wowio.
Wario, something along those lines, yeah.
Sounds
because,
like Mario, only it's Wowio. Wowio.
One of the two.
Just talk over me when I'm singing, 'cause I'm
We can't
stop.
Yeah, well, because for those people that are on Wario, those people in the US, I should point out, if you want to review download and review the Wario stuff they've got on there, you can, but for the most part, we'll probably just be reviewing the main stuff, the main comic, maybe a little bit about the extra content they've put in the art days type stuff, and maybe some of the other stuff, but the Wario stuff is primarily should be kept to the side unless Homer wants to say anything about it, because of the fun little rules that non-American or people that do not live in the main 48 states, it seems to be, are allowed to view it.
Yes. Indeed. Yes. Indeed. Yes. Okay.
Homer!
What?
That was left for you. There was a comment left for you to talk about if you wanted to, which was if you would download the Wowio stuff.
I guess. Seeing as I've read the comic already, I might as well do the Wowio reading. So. And by the way, this is that stupid ministry of confusing the hell out of Americans, because I didn't get any of that from what you said.
I stopped paying attention 2 hours ago. What were we talking about again? Who are you?
Your
Where am I?
sexuality. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, I'm being disturbed by crazy. I should shut my door. Sorry.
Sorry, who? What? Where? Who? What?
I think I know what we're going.
And back.
I think I know what we're going to get Squato for his birthday.
A box.
And what might that be?
A sign that says "on air."
Yes. Unfortunately, I'll have to hang a sign that says "on air."
I can tell you right now, that would not concern either my brother or my nephew, because it's like, oh, well, I'll just go into here and ask you the questions. Oh, you've got a sign flashing saying you're on the computer or you're talking to people. Doesn't matter. I'll just ask you right away. You'll be able to answer me, so it shouldn't be any problem. It's not like you're doing anything important.
Okay, how about a lock?
Wouldn't work.
Why is this door locked? Are you keeping something secret in there? We're going to get the locksmith in and break it down. Free information for free. Free information.
Break it down, James Brown.
Ow!
Well, and it may be perhaps a pre-recorded loudspeaker that just shouts "Get out!" when they open the door.
Yeah, but that would interfere with the thing because we'd hear it every now. People would go, "Get out!
Yeah,
Get out! Get out! Get out! Nah, nah, nah."
I'm sure we'd hear it less and less as time goes on.
We gradually tune it out, and it becomes subliminal.
Anyways.
Ultimately, it should become superliminal.
Superliminal.
Blue, blue, blue. Okay.
If not, is it? What is it?
Recap.
Yes, recap time.
Okay. Let's see. News. Forums are still there and in existence, moving kind of slowly, from what we can tell. So we have got to get back on them. Comic.
Maybe.
Generally agreed to be very good, if not the best work Dan has ever done.
Well, good. To be fair, just say good.
I did.
You said the best ever.
I said good, if not the best ever, which is a qualifying statement.
Yeah, take that, Squato.
What about for those people that don't like the way this comic turned out? What if they hate it and feel it's the worst comic ever made?
Yeah, well, they're not the hosts of the show. Ha! Ha!
But they would be listening. Ha!
In other unrelated news, very busy with jobs and whatnot, but that should be changing, so we will be more active, presumably. And
possibly.
Yes. Today's discussion and rant were on the subjects of transgenderism and the nature thereof. Didn't really get
also related to internet and their impact on people's ability to, and well, how freely they may feel to be expressive about themselves.
Very true.
Also.
Listener Q&A, we got into some of the more silly questions, also talked a little bit about some of the storylines of the comic. And we talked a little bit about doing webcomic reviews. We're going to be doing a review of Zap in Space, which brings us to who picks the comic to review next week?
I'll do it.
All right. And I will do it the week after.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about sponsorship. We are being hosted by Killerfish. Take it away.
Shasterix.com for all your Shasterix needs. Remember, it's SHSTRIX. Shasterix. That's one S, no T, or something. I'm kind of getting lost here again. Oh well, never mind. Shasterix.com. It's the best.
They control your life. Get used to it.
It's run by two people I know fairly well.
Who have no evil plans for the world whatsoever.
None. I'm pretty certain they don't have evil plans. I don't know. I should ask them. Jim, Ash, do you have any evil plans for the world? No.
And that was the last we ever saw of him again.
I remember Killerfish. He was so nice.
What is he now? What is he now? I think he's a fish.
Or he's in a fish. Or he's sleeping with the fishes.
Okay.
One of the three.
Ew!
Unless it's a mermaid.
I just had a bit of ravioli. Is it mermaid with fish at the top or fish at the bottom though?
The kind of mermaid that you would actually want to be with. So pick one.
Again, is it the bit that's the mermaid at the top, or is the fish at the top, or the fish at the bottom?
Hey man, that's a little too personal.
Hey, don't knock it. Don't knock it.
Okay, Killerfish.
It's like that. It's like that joke from Family Guy. It's like where they had Lois gets rescued by the mermaid. Sorry, the merman, and it's a fish head, but with a male legs. And he's like, "But I've got a penis." Isn't that what? And she's like, "But that's not what the woman's dream is." Like, yeah, but how can you have sex? Ah.
I haven't seen that episode. Okay.
Season 6 is it? Anyway,
Yeah,
next thing. Keep moving.
Killerfish,
Yes.
how's your work on your comics coming?
Very slowly. Mainly because
What
I've
is-
been making fillers for other comics.
Well,
I was about to ask if it was the one he was drawing while we speak, or if it was Keenfans amongst others.
Oh yeah, I've got to do something about Keenfans. I'm actually planning on doing another Too Many Avatars, which is another satirical poke at myself for having too many avatars. I'm going to do another one of those comics and then get back onto Keenfans. Team Nexus should be kicking up back into gear within the next 2 weeks, and well, that will be the next 1 week by the time you hear this, so well, possibly, depending on how long it takes to get this online.
Yes.
So expect to see movement in the comics area for me in rapidly
movement on the
short.
station, and the word got around.
And they were dancing and moving and something to the grooving, and just when you thought that I can't remember all the words.
Play that funky
monkey
music, white
Stick
boy.
white boy.
I'm gonna love how you just took the Man from Snowy River and just turned it into this 1970s disco hit.
Okay, Squato, anything on your end
Yes.
new to announce?
Yes.
New on my end. I may have less family relatives within the next few days, depending on what happens today.
Are you killing a few people?
No, I wouldn't be doing that. And no, the Squatter side of myself isn't coming out. No. Shiny knife.
Okay, as for myself, I had to take a break from my projects to work on the training stuff for Apple. In fact, they had me actually put together a website. Why I would need to do that for a retail store, I'm not sure, but it was actually kind of fun. But so that's what I had to do.
You're working for Apple. It's an evil organization, so nothing ever makes sense.
Yeah, but we're all working for evil organisations. You can't get away from it. I mean, you're working for an evil corporation, Homer, and I'm currently working for an evil corporation that I might not be working for by the time this is aired. And I'm not sure what Squato does as a job. What do you do as a job, Squato? I've never asked before.
In reality, I work at a supermarket.
See, you work for an evil corporation too. We're all evil.
Well, dumb corporation, because they decided to do something and it made them lose billions of dollars. And so they went from being top dog to taken over by someone else.
Yeah,
Well,
just
that was
as
a bit
evil.
silly, wasn't it?
More retarded evil. They're the one going, I did it.
Okay.
But they've been taken out the past
Watch
shot.
your words. Watch your words.
Okay.
People might Words very.
Yes, not to be offending, not to do anything like that. Mental people are people too, not saying anything wrong about that. We're all being peaceful, love and feeling and all that type of stuff.
Alright, so just as a reminder, everybody should be reading El Gunas Shive. If you're not, what's wrong with you?
Yes. We will sit you down in front of a video camera, and we will make you a hostage until you start reading El Gunas Shive. And I don't quite see how that would work since we've taken you hostage.
No. What we would do is that we'll strap them into a chair,
Yes.
force their eyes open,
Nice.
and then make them actually look at the damn comic while we put drops into their eyes and possibly flash weird music as well as some possibly disturbing images on the side.
Classic. Although I would prefer just shooting them in the head with a laser and hoping that uploads the entire comic archive into their head. That'd be so much more efficient, I realise.
But not as fun.
No, because you kind of burn the entire archive of El Gunas Shive into the back of somebody's
This is
retina.
Squato and Killerfish. I've been Thank you, everybody.
When you're here by my side,
Good night.
Yes.
complete the two of us. You make the rules apply. It's a crazy world. In a twisted turn of reality, it's you and me. And I need you here to keep some sanity. We are but pawns in a faded game of cat and mouse. Maybe a couple of headshots thrown out here and there. It's a crazy world, it's all messed up, all in my hair. I've got you, I don't care.
The BunnyCast is produced and directed by Dame Helennet, the Leatherclad, Killerfish, and Squato. Crazy World and Because of Your Grace, used without permission. El Gunas Shive is property of Dan Shive. The Watch is property of Anne and Robin. All rights reserved.
Power in my hand, the world at my command. But now all that I want is just to be your man. It's a crazy world, in a twisted turn of reality. It's you and me, and I need you here to keep some sanity. We are but pawns in a faded game of cat and mouse. Maybe a couple of guinea pigs thrown out here and there. It's a crazy world, it's all messed up in my head. I got you, I don't care.